Secretary for Trump 2020. Thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure. I have lots of questions for you, but just getting right into it. You know, this rally comes just days after the chaotic Iowa caucuses, one day before the New Hampshire primary, and shortly after he was acquitted last week. What can we expect from President Trump tonight?
A victory lap. It's been a great week. Look, the president was acquitted. As you noted, the Iowa caucus were a disaster for the Democrats. And meanwhile, President Trump hit his highest mark in Gallup approval ratings during his presidency. So look, the president is going to be very excited tonight to address this crowd. He's always excited to be around the American people. He's excited to be in New Hampshire.
Absolutely. And you know, the chaos in Iowa following the caucuses, Sanders and Buttigieg were neck and neck. How will that chaos potentially negatively impact the Democrats moving forward and actually help the Trump campaign potentially?
Well, it shows they can't even run an Iowa caucus. They can't run an election. How can they run our healthcare system? And what it also shows us is there's really a flavor of the week with the Democrats. You know, Buttigieg, Biden, Bernie, I can't keep up. They are very discontent with their field of candidates. They don't seem to be able to rally around anyone. Maybe it's because there's no one worth rallying around in the Democrat field.
Now, the unemployment here in the Granite State is 2.6%. That's even significantly below the awesome national average. How much will this play into securing those electoral votes in this upcoming election?
Oh, I think it'll be huge. Look, these voters in this room understand more than anyone that this is the hottest economy in modern history and that it is reversible. Look, they came off, and I say New Hampshire, but really the whole nation, the slowest economic recovery since World War II under President Obama, and now we have the hottest economy ever in the history of our country. Paychecks finally growing for low and middle income Americans, median household income at the highest point in history. It's all reversible. Should a socialist like Bernie Sanders win? Should a socialist like Pete Buttigieg win? It doesn't matter which, it's socialist nonetheless.
Now, switching gears a little bit, under the direction of President Trump, U.S. forces were able to kill Qasem al-Rimi, the leader of al-Qaeda on the Arabian Peninsula. How large of an impact will his hardline stance on securing American national security play in this upcoming election as well?
Oh, it will be a really big deal because, look, the president has taken the fight to ISIS. ISIS is on the run. They've been totally decimated. And it's quite a contrast from what was happening under President Obama. This president has shown unmistakably that should you attack a U.S. embassy, there will be repercussions, as we saw with Soleimani. He's done so much good, and I think what he's done on the national stage is say, America's strong, and we're going to fight back, and we're going to protect Americans abroad and here at home.
President Trump also delivered a very eloquent State of the Union speech, as we saw last week. He had several tributes to a handful of Americans that were just quite frankly breathtaking. Then the House Speaker decided to tear up that speech. How does the campaign respond to that type of decision?
Yeah, it just showed the contrast we've been trying to illustrate. We've been trying to show, look, this is a president who achieves. This is a president who has so much good, and it's undeniable. You can list it out, whether it's the USMCA or those rising paychecks or its strength on the world stage or, you know, fighting for our veterans and the obstruction of the left who want to impeach the president, who want to remove him by illegitimate means and take away the vote of the American people. Well, that contrast was never more evidence than in the fact that Nancy Pelosi tore up the State of the Union while President Trump gave, as you noted, one of the most breathtaking speeches with breathtaking stories of the American people. The contrast was there, and she helped illustrate it.
Absolutely. You know, President Trump was also acquitted last Wednesday on 2 articles of impeachment in the upper chamber. Obviously a huge win for this administration. How will he be able to put this behind us, heal the nation, and ultimately continue achieving what he has thus far?
I think by continuing to do what he does, which is he puts down his head and he works. And this is a president who's undeterred, who's relentless. The left does everything they can to try to take him down, but he says, no, I'm going to go back to lowering prescription drugs and protecting pre-existing conditions and lowering healthcare costs. That's what he's going to continue to do. And as he does that, Americans see the hour-and-a-half State of the Union where it's President Trump, unfiltered, saying what's on his heart, and people recognize that and want to be a part of that success, that optimism.
Right. You know, and the Trump campaign and the RNC have shattered fundraising records time and time again, and Q4 last year was no exception. How will building up that war chest really help defeat the Democrats for the 2020 election?
Oh, it's a big deal. Look, $117 million raised between the RNC and also the Trump campaign since impeachment began. We are the most well-funded campaign in presidential history. We're going to be the most organized campaign in presidential history. We're going to have the largest ground game group of volunteers of any campaign in history. And that's going to just be the tailwind behind the president's already successful agenda that was driving him to victory.
Absolutely. Now, we also have rallies coming up in both Colorado and Arizona. The campaign has made it clear that he'll be visiting more than just the swing states, especially in the coming months. Can we also expect him to visit states like Oregon, Nevada, New Mexico?
You know, our data guides us, and I'll leave it to the president and Brad Parscale to decide what comes next, but we're doing that westward swing. I think it should be evidenced by the fact that we're in, today New Hampshire, we've been in Minnesota, we've been in New Jersey, we've been in New Mexico. We're a campaign that's on offense. We're going to protect the states that we believe are Trump states, like Iowa and Florida and Ohio. We're going to go into new territory, and I think that is pretty clear based on our rally schedule so far.
Right. Thank you so much, Kayleigh McEnany, Trump 2020 press secretary. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was good seeing you
I'm
again.
sorry we were so late.
What about
Nations, while we pan the crowd and show you guys how the audience has just grown astronomically in the past few minutes. Lots of donations are in, so we love to see that. Thank you to everyone that's donated. We'll start with Richard White, who said, "Happy Trump Day." Glenn Jacobson said, "Glenn and Catherine Jacobson love President Trump and all he is doing." We have Jake, who said, "Keep up the good work. Shout out to King Face, a great up-and-coming black leader for Trump at KingFace_F1 MAGA. Awesome. Thank you very much. We have Paul Mall, who donated and said, "Thank you, RSBN Trump Patriots. Visit us on magaplace.com. We have Court Evans, who said, "Keep up the good work at these rallies." Paul Valley, who said, "I am so disappointed a few hours ago that I got in my car only to go to the rally, only to find my battery dead. I just found you guys on YouTube. You saved the day. Thank you so much, MAGA." Oh my goodness. Honestly, I love that one. I'm sorry that happened to you and your car battery is dead, but I'm so glad that we are able to arrive in an alternative way for you to see President Trump's rally here tonight. That is exactly what we are here for, so thank you for your support. Jay donated and said, "Greetings from California. Thank you, RSBN, and your awesome team doing such fab work, bringing us President Trump's speeches and rallies. Keep